A retired businesswoman, mistaken for a housemaid, uses the misunderstanding to test her son's girlfriend's character. Through shared experiences and unexpected challenges, the true nature of both women is revealed, free from social expectations. This lighthearted tale demonstrates how authentic interactions can break down barriers, fostering genuine connections and mutual respect regardless of status or appearance.
Hello, my friends. I am Mimi, and this is Inspiring Stories by Mimi. I hope you enjoy this story.
Sarah was excited that morning. She was preparing to welcome her son Daniel home, along with his new girlfriend, Sophie. Daniel had confided in his mother that he was planning to propose to Sophie soon, and the news had filled Sarah's heart with joy. Sarah's family owned a financial empire, a highly recognized investment firm both domestically and internationally. After retiring from managing the company, Sarah decided to move to a rural property in the countryside, where she could finally enjoy the tranquility that country life provided. Previously, she was accustomed to galas and dinners at sophisticated restaurants, but now she led a quieter and more isolated life, living far from most of her friends and family. Sarah always valued the opportunity to receive visitors at her country home. That day, she decided to organize everything meticulously. Early in the morning, she went to the small market in town and bought beautiful bouquets of wildflowers to decorate the house. Sarah chose a variety of colorful blooms to brighten up the environment. In addition to the flowers, Sarah bought artisanal cheeses and a selection of local wines to please Daniel and Sophie's tastes. She also went to the orchard on the property and picked fresh fruits. With some of the fruits, she prepared delicious homemade preserves. With others, she arranged a beautiful fruit platter that would serve as dessert after the meal. Daniel was Sarah's only child, and the relationship between mother and son was truly special. Sarah had raised him with much love, and even when he became an independent adult, his mother remained his most trusted friend and advisor. When Sarah decided to retire and pass the control of the company to Daniel, the succession process was natural and smooth. For many years, they worked side by side, sharing not just the family bond but also a passion for the business. Sarah not only taught him the complexities of work but also the values that sustained the family company: integrity, innovation, and dedication. After retiring, Sarah moved to the countryside, while Daniel remained living in the capital where all the company's business was concentrated. With all his professional responsibilities, he didn't see his mother as often as he would like, but they maintained a constant connection by telephone. Their frequent conversations were a way for Sarah to continue influencing and advising her son, ensuring that the company's values remained alive. On that day, Daniel's visit to that small inland town where his mother Sarah lived also had a business motivation. He had an important meeting scheduled with a local supplier to discuss matters related to the family business. Knowing how essential it was to balance professional and personal matters, Daniel decided to suggest to Sophie that she visit his mother's house while he was occupied with the meeting. Sophie readily agreed with the idea. It was a perfect opportunity to spend some time getting to know Sarah and to enjoy the tranquility of the countryside. The driver dropped Daniel off at the meeting location and then took Sophie to the rural property where Sarah lived. As the car traveled down the winding road leading to the country house, Sophie watched the surrounding landscape in wonder. The rolling green hills, open fields, and trees stretching as far as the eye could see created an idyllic picture. When they finally reached the entrance to the property, Sophie was impressed by the beauty and serenity of the place. As the car approached the house, she could see the charming architecture of the country house with its stone walls and well-tended gardens. Excitement mixed with anxiety grew. Sophie knew that this meeting was an important step in her relationship with Daniel and his family. Sophie knew Sarah, Daniel's mother, only through photos he had shared over the years. In all these pictures, Sarah was always impeccably dressed with flawless makeup and perfectly styled hair. She was a portrait of sophistication and elegance, and her photos conveyed an aura of confidence and power. But since she had moved to the countryside, Sarah had adopted a new lifestyle. She had left behind designer clothes and high heels, trading them for comfortable boots and a practical overall. Makeup, which used to be an essential part of her routine, was now part of a distant reality she had abandoned. Sarah noticed the car approaching and, with a warm smile, ran to welcome Daniel and his girlfriend. As soon as Sophie stepped out of the car, she saw a woman coming towards her and hurried to introduce herself. "Good morning, I am Sophie, Daniel's girlfriend." He is in a meeting, and I arrived before him. Is Daniel's mother at home? I would love to meet her, said Sophie, addressing Sarah. She had not recognized the woman in front of her. Sarah noticed that due to her simpler and more practical clothes, Sophie had mistaken her for one of the housemaids. Sarah, with her good-humored spirit, decided to play along and keep the confusion going for a while longer. Good morning, Miss Sophie, replied Sarah, continuing the ruse. Unfortunately, Madame Sarah, Daniel's mother, also had to step out for a moment. But she will be back soon. Let's go inside so you can have some water and freshen up while you wait, said Sarah with a mischievous smile. Sophie then said, Can you please get my bags? They're in the back seat of the car. While picking up the bags, Sarah noted Sophie's attitude and thought to herself that this was a good opportunity to better understand her son's girlfriend's personality. She found Sophie's demeanor somewhat snobbish but decided not to judge hastily and instead keep an open mind to get to know the young woman who was about to become part of the family. As they entered the house, the real maid noticed Sarah carrying Sophie's bags and, somewhat confused, immediately went to help her. She couldn't understand why Sarah was carrying the guests' bags. Sarah, seeing the maid's confused expression, decided to clarify the situation. She called her employee to the kitchen and explained everything with a playful smile on her face. For today, you don't need to call me madam or treat me like your boss, requested Sarah. The maid, who was already familiar with Sarah's playful personality, couldn't help but smile. She found the whole situation very amusing and agreed to play along. Sarah was about to discover Sophie's true personality. Hours later, Daniel finally arrived at his mother's house, eager to reunite with his mother and hear about her day with Sophie. However, what he found was something he could never have imagined. After the business meeting, Daniel arrived at his mother's house and noticed that neither Sarah nor Sophie was there. Intrigued, he heard a noise coming from the back of the house. Knowing that his mother had a small farm with animals, including goats, chickens, and pigs, he decided to investigate. As he approached the place, Daniel could barely believe what he saw. His mother Sarah and his girlfriend Sophie were covered in mud, running after a piglet that had escaped from the pen. The scene was so unexpected that he couldn't help but burst into laughter. Mom, what is going on here? He said, still laughing. Sophie, confused and surprised, looked at Daniel and then at Sarah. She then exclaimed, Mom? You told me your name was Teresa. Aren't you the housemaid? Throughout the day, Sarah had been pretending to be the housemaid. As soon as Sophie mistook her for the maid upon arrival, Sarah decided to go along with the prank. Before Daniel arrived, Sarah continued to cook and tidy the house for the meal. And what surprised her was Sophie's willingness to join her in the kitchen. Sophie, taking off her elegant coat and sophisticated shoes, put on an apron and approached Sarah in the kitchen with a warm smile. She offered to help. Well, while I wait for Daniel and his mother to arrive, can I help you? Sarah was genuinely impressed with Sophie's attitude. She admired the young woman's willingness to engage in household chores without revealing her true identity. Sarah responded with a friendly smile, of course. Young lady. By the way, my name is Teresa. In fact, Sarah's full name was Sarah Teresa. Sophie and Sarah continued to work together in the kitchen. They kneaded fresh bread, cut juicy fruits, and prepared a beautiful salad full of colors and flavors. They arranged flower bouquets that would adorn the table in the garden. Time flew by as they laughed and had fun in a relaxed and cheerful manner. Suddenly, the piglet that had escaped from the pen became the center of attention. Sophie and Sarah embarked on a hilarious mission to try and capture it, creating a true spectacle of running and laughter. The scene was so funny it seemed straight out of a comedy movie. It was precisely at this moment that Daniel arrived at his mother's house. It was time for Sarah to reveal her identity. Sarah knew it was time to reveal her true identity to Sophie. She approached the young woman with a warm smile and said, Sophie, I'm sorry, but I am Daniel's mother. When you arrived and didn't recognize me, I decided to play a prank. The truth is, I got to know the humble and caring girl that you are. Even thinking I was the housemaid, you treated me with admirable kindness, helped me with all the chores, and didn't hesitate to chase after the runaway piglet. I'm sorry for the joke, but I got to know you in your essence. Sophie was surprised to discover that she had spent all that time with Daniel's mother, Sarah. She couldn't believe that the woman she met that day was the same one she only knew through photos, depicted as an elegant and intimidating figure. However, Sophie's surprise was accompanied by a feeling of relief and joy. She realized that meeting Sarah in a more relaxed manner, without the pressure of trying to make a good impression, had been an incredible experience. She saw Sarah's true essence as a loving, good-humored woman who was willing to have fun. The playful interaction that started with a small confusion ended up bringing Sophie closer to Daniel's family, creating a special bond between them. After a good bath to wash off the mud from the fun adventure with the piglet, everyone gathered at the table for a meal. The table was beautifully decorated with the flower arrangements that Sarah and Sophie had prepared together in the garden. That journey that began with a small confusion, a playful incident, and a piglet chase turned into a precious memory. In the end, the story of Sarah, Daniel, and Sophie reminds us of a valuable lesson: the importance of being genuine and loving with everyone. By treating Sarah with care and respect, even when she mistook her for the housemaid, Sophie revealed her true essence: a loving, humble, and non-prejudiced person.
If you enjoyed the story, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.